Jeff, I think of you as one of my generation's, as belonging to my generation of moral philosophers, and you're one of the people I most have in mind when I feel proud to be talking about my generation. And I'll just add one thing. One of the things I've admired about your work is the integrity that you've shown in being willing to rethink and change your views. I mean, what you think at one time of your career, you don't stick with because it's yours, but you think about what the issues are, and you may change your mind and come up with a new and better idea. And I really admire the integrity that's involved. Best wishes on retirement. Thanks a lot.
Hey, Jeff, you've heard me say this before. As you know, the years we spent as part of the ELFs with you and Francis and Larry have been absolutely the intellectual high point of my career. What you haven't heard me say before is, I always liked you best, so don't tell anybody else. Thanks.
All right, Jeff, I've been asked to say a few words to you. Of course, I'm going to say a lot of words to you tonight, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I'm grateful for so many things in my life, as you know. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for Derek Parfit, and I'm grateful that you're a big part of my life. You've done so much for me, so much for the profession. You're just an amazing friend, and I wish you all the best in your retirement. Though I know for you, it will never be a retirement. I wish it were. Talk to you later. Bye.
So, hi, Jeff. So when we first met, when I was in grad school, I really didn't know my elbow from a hole in the ground, to turn a phrase. And it's because of your forbearance and patience and your willingness to cultivate what talents I had that, I was able to progress in the way that I did. And I'm forever grateful for that. And, you served as an inspiration, as I'm sure others have said, not only with respect to, the rigorous philosophical work you've done, but also in doing, God's work as it were, in doing the more applied philosophy, public-facing philosophy that needs to be done. And that's always, I've been grateful for that as a kind of exemplar of someone in our field. And I hope to be able to continue to see you and know you for as long as I can. Thanks.
Jeff, I just want to thank you for your really important works in philosophy. I think it's The Ethics of Killing that I first read, and I really learned a lot from it. I think it's gave much more detail and argument about many of the things that I had written about, and I was delighted to find that we are at least partially in agreement on many issues, particularly, of course, that we're in agreement about animal questions. And also, I remember the conference we attended when we were talking about disability and some of the issues relating to euthanasia for severely disabled infants. It was great to have you on side with that. And of course, the case of the disabled guy that we wrote about in the New York Times was terrific to have your support, even though we both got attacked for that. And apart from that, I feel you've been a terrific friend to have in philosophy and academia for many years now, and I'm hopeful that that is going to continue through your retirement and for many years on. Thanks.
Hi, Jeff. It's great to be here at your retirement conference, though I know you will be just as busy as usual in the future. You've been such an inspiration, and you're brave, you're courageous, you're smart, and you're also an amazing friend. And you've been an amazing friend for Idea, my dog. As you know, she loves you. She sends her best. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for being my friend and a role model.
Hi, Jeff. I really hope that you're enjoying your retirement conference. Like so many people here, I owe such an enormous debt of gratitude to all of your support and encouragement and advice ever since I was a graduate student. And so it's such a pleasure really to be here with all of these great people, but of course, especially with you to celebrate such an amazing and inspirational career. And I hope you're having a really great time.
Hi, Jeff. It's Patrick here. Congratulations on your retirement. Congratulations on such a wonderful event. Like lots of people here, I have many happy memories discussing philosophy with you. To two that spring to mind immediately is driving you down to Reading many years ago and trying some ideas out on you and you telling me that I should write them down. And I now know that writing them down was the first words that I wrote of my book, although I didn't know that at the time. And the other is an event here at Corpus that was very small. It was just you, me and Victor, a full day, a paper each. And I really cherish those memories of discussing those papers and thinking through philosophy with you both. And good luck with whatever comes next. And I hope you get a bit more time to do some of your own work now.
Hello, Jeff. As you know, I've always thought you were marvelous, one of the great philosophers. But when it really clicked to me that you are an outstanding person compared to everyone else was when you came to Warwick and you gave a paper where your views were both baffling and morally offensive. And we pointed this out to you, and I thought your reply was quite brilliant, actually. It was maybe the best reply that we've ever had to questions in a philosophy paper where you said, I've thought about this for a long time. Which, at that point, I thought, that just separates the greats from the ordinary mortals in philosophy. It was a dazzling moment, and you didn't say more, and frankly, I didn't think more was needed at that point, because I think that's really all we need to know. And now that you're retiring, we can say that you had a long time to think about a lot of things, and so now we all believe everything you say. So congratulations on your retirement and for making this contribution to the world where no one has to anymore question what you think. Bye-bye.
Hi, Jeff. I just wanted to say some things. Well, as you know, I like you immensely, and I feel close to you. I don't know if we're allowed to use the word love in England, but at any rate, I feel close to you, and also I'm very grateful to you for all your consideration and help during those years. And beyond that, I just wanted to say that you're sort of a role model for me. In some sense, I think I feel that you are like a manageable Parfit. So that Parfit was kind of superhuman, and you just somewhat superhuman, and but still a model that one can look at in terms of rigor, in terms of consideration, and all the good things that you do in philosophy. And beyond. And also, I think that for me, you're a sign of like a model for quality, even in the small things, in the obsessiveness with tea, or the consideration with music, or the way you think about whiskey, and etc. And all these have made you a delightful person for me to know, but also somebody that I look up to. Thank you.
Jeff, thank you. It's been an honor to work alongside you at Oxford. You were so kind when you arrived. You took me under your wing in lots of different ways. I loved learning about tea. I loved playing squash with you. But above all, I am so grateful to you for the help you provided me philosophically, talking things through with me, working on papers with me, and educating me not only in the philosophy, but also in the finer points of grammar, which will stay with me the rest of my life. Thank you.
So many people have asked me, are you coming all the way to Oxford with your crutches in the middle of the most busy time ever? But of course, you have come 3 times to Barcelona for my students in the middle of an even busier time. So it's the least I could do. Besides, this is a running injury that I acquired partly because of being inspired by your running up to La Mola and being probably the only person in the history of humanity that has climbed in the Himalayas, refusing the help of any Sherpa and carrying a laptop and on what matters. And I know many times you are feeling sad that no more people read about it, things don't have a bigger impact, but it is only because it's too early. It's too early to tell. Your work is not the kind of, pop music that everybody can get into very quickly, but then once people get into it, I am reading The Ethics of Killing again and again, finding more things that I haven't thought about, more things to write about, and so in the future, there's going to be so much McMahan, so many people working on all of these avenues that you have opened up, that there's going to be McMahon for a long time. And, I hope you live a long time and get to see this explosion of attention to your topic that you totally deserve.
What do I say about Jeff? It's just he's a really, really nice bloke. And he's helped me so often and in so many ways. And he never needed to help me. And he's always gone out of his way to help me. So I just want to say thank you, Jeff.
So I think that the first point at which I actually became acquainted with your work was 1991 when I received a copy of your ethics piece on the problem of the innocent attacker, and my heart sunk because I was defending a very, very similar proposition about to come out in Philosophy in Public Affairs, but it hadn't come out yet, and I thought, I've been scooped. But fortunately, it doesn't really work that way in philosophy, and there were some important differences between our views. But had you published it a year earlier, then I'm sure I wouldn't have been able to publish this piece, and maybe that would have made a huge difference to the rest of my career, because it turned out to be one of my most cited pieces, and maybe I just wouldn't have gone anywhere. So I'm very grateful that I know that you're such a perfectionist. It must have taken a long time before you sent this off to be considered by a journal. But I'm glad that you didn't wait even longer, because then I probably wouldn't have had any sort of career at all. But the convergence between our views demonstrates something about your views and mine. I sometimes don't know what I actually think or should think about a particular issue, and then I tell myself I just should read Jeff's work and see what he thinks, and that's what either I should think or what I do think. So congratulations on your retirement, and I wish you many, many more years of philosophy and happiness. Thanks, Jeff.
So, Jeff, you think you have retired? I doubt it. Now you have 100% research time and no more admin, and I know how happy you're going to be about that. We don't really remember the first time we met, but I think it's around 25 years ago. As you know, I've been inspired by your work. Actually, the line of work that you started out on earlier, what you wrote your thesis about, and also a brilliant paper in ethics, I think it was a review. And a lot of things you said there, if people just had read that carefully, we could have saved a lot of ink and unnecessary publications. Brilliant stuff, but even though it was so brilliant, you took a strange course. You changed subject and started writing about this kind of just war theory. But that became extremely successful too. But I don't think people read your earlier stuff in population ethics enough. You're now returning a bit to that, which I'm very happy about, and I look forward to even more exchanges. Sometimes you ask me rather absurd questions. You ask me, how many people can you kill in self-defense? And you wanted to have the idea that you could kill anyone. And I said, no, that can't be true at some point. If you say enough many people, and I gave you this picture, you're standing up in this tower, you're defending, there are a long lineup of 1 billion people coming up there, one at a time fencing you. You can't kill them all. But I think you still stick to that. But anyway, that's just an example of the, many people say bizarre questions we have discussed. But I'm looking forward to even more now when you have even more time. And thanks for everything. And no retirement, forget about it.
I was trying to think what year I met Jeff in person. At some point he had come up from Missouri to give a talk in New York City. He was so kind, and the talk that he gave was so brilliant. The reason I got on the train and went up to NYU to hear the talk was because I loved the paper so much. And since then, he is constantly revisiting, or not constantly, he's regularly revisiting the asymmetry, all of the important issues in population ethics, all of the important issues in war and justice, all of the important issues that I can think of in normative ethics and meta-ethics at this point as well. What I want to say in more general terms is it's always so touching to me and so interesting to me that there is a correlation, and it holds of a lot of people who are here now, including Peter Singer and many other people who are here now, between somebody being very, very kind and somebody being very, very smart. Maybe very, very smart and very, very kind, maybe just kind to me. I'm not sure, but there's a correlation there. And Jeff is the epitome of it. He is so very smart when it comes to the issues that are important, and he's been so very, very kind to me. Nobody on the planet has exemplified those two qualities that I've appreciated so much, that I can think of and that I expect ever to get to know in my entire life. So I hope, the main thing is, I hope he and I do stay in touch.
Hi, Jeff. This is Sam Rickless, as you know. I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate everything you've done, not just for me, but for the profession of philosophy generally. It's just not possible for me to think about anything in the areas that I work in, whether it's in normative ethics or war or liability or whatever it is that's come across your way and comes across mine, that I don't look at your work first before I even think about anything else. And I'm also incredibly grateful to you for everything that you've made possible for me this time at Oxford, and I just wanted to thank you for that assistance. Now, as you may or may not know, I'm particularly fond of limericks, and I've written a number of limericks for famous philosophers, and I think here's one for you, so I'll just read it out as a kind of thank you. Thanks to Jeff, I will always give aid. If you're needy, your debts will be paid. I won't harm you at all. I'll be there if you fall. All his arguments did me persuade. Thanks, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. Congratulations on your retirement. You've been a real inspiration to me, both on a professional level and also on a personal level. I remember when I first asked you whether you might be willing to supervise my PhD dissertation, you said, that you would, but that your comments were unlikely to be penetratingly critical, I think you said, because the area was outside your topic of expertise, and also because of the view I was defending was the view you were quite sympathetic to. And of course, it will come as a surprise to no one that your comments were absolutely penetratingly critical. And I often left tutorials thinking, what would it be like to be supervised by Jeff on a topic inside his area of expertise, and where he wasn't sympathetic to the views being defended. And I remember the very first supervision, in fact, that we had. You met with me for 4 hours, and it was just the most amazing experience. And I really hope you know that meant a huge amount to me, and I'll never forget that. And that was really the beginning of a very long list of kindness that you showed towards me. So I want to thank you for everything you've done for me, for the profession, and wish you a very long and happy retirement.
Jeff McMahan influenced me in many ways. The friendship with him is extremely valuable for me. And above all, he encouraged me to create an endowment for the Sekyra and White Professorship of Moral Philosophy. Oldest chair of its kind in English-speaking world. And Jeff is deservedly the holder of this chair since 2014. And for me and for my foundation, it's very important that I can contribute to create or recreate this chair, which is the most prestigious chair of the moral philosophy in the world. Jeff inspired me in many other ways. I called the streets in my largest project in Prague after philosophers. We have the Kant and Hegel Street, we have the Simone Weil Square, we have Hobbes Locke Street, John Rawls Street, and also Derek Parfit Park. Because Jeff, he introduced me to Parfit, which influenced my thinking about philosophy and about the ethics. And I'm grateful to Jeff that he's also helpful in writing my book on the theory of reciprocity. I'm deeply thankful to Jeff for his friendship, and I wish him all the best in his next academic and other activities. And thanks for the friendship.
So Jeff, I first met you in the 80s, I think, in Cambridge. And I can't remember much about it, except you seem like a really nice bloke. And you still do, which is quite amazing for somebody who's hung out with philosophers all his life.
One of the extraordinary things that Jeff has done is nurture a community of outstanding philosophers who work in just war theory, and it has been one of the truly great joys of my life to be a kind of honorary member of that community.
Jeff, you are a mentor, a teacher, an inspiration. I once wrote in one of the reports that I had to complete when I was at JRF that I learned from you what it means to be a philosopher and why it is important to be a good one. And only for that alone, I thank you.